First Contact Fallacy. Grand Admiral Vexthor of the Meridian Alliance stood at the observation deck of the Celestial Seeker, his crystalline eyes fixed on the blue-green planet rotating slowly in the void before him. The third planet of this unremarkable solar system had initially seemed like any other developing world. Primitive radio signals, visible light pollution, and the telltale signs of early space exploration. Yet something about this Earth nagged at his centuries of experience. Admiral, his second-in-command, Commander Lyra, approached with a data crystal. The preliminary assessment is complete. The species calls themselves humans. Their technology appears to be at development stage 3. They've achieved basic spaceflight, but haven't expanded beyond their lunar satellite. Vexthor's tendrils rippled with mild amusement. Another simple first contact mission, then. The Meridian Alliance had performed hundreds of these over the millennia, guiding young civilizations into the galactic community. Standard protocol. Commander, prepare the welcome fleet. But as Lyra turned to leave, the Admiral's attention caught on an anomaly in the sensor readings. These energy signatures, they're inconsistent with Stage 3 development. Our analysts suggest they're simply inefficient with their power distribution, sir. Typical of young civilizations. Vexthor wasn't convinced. In his 1,000 years of service, he'd never seen a primitive civilization with such elegant energy patterns. They were too clean, too precise. Yet the visual evidence was undeniable. Their ships were crude chemical rockets, their satellites primitive and exposed. The welcome fleet assembled, 12 ships of the line. A standard show of force meant to impress but not threaten. As they approached Earth's orbit, Vexthor expected the usual panic, the scrambled military responses, the frightened communications. Instead, there was silence. "Sir," Lyra's voice carried an edge of concern, "we're detecting no changes in their defense posture, no military mobilization, no emergency broadcasts. They appear to be ignoring us." That was when Vexthor's instincts screamed danger. In 900 years of first contacts, he'd never encountered a civilization that didn't react to the arrival of an alien fleet. Even the most peaceful species showed some response to such an event. "Full scan," he ordered. "Every frequency, every spectrum." "Something's not." The sensor officer's cry cut him off. "Admiral, quantum fluctuations detected. Massive energy spike from the planet's surface." Vexthor watched in stunned silence as the space around his fleet seemed to ripple. Where moments before there had been empty void, hundreds of stations shimmered into existence. Massive structures that had somehow remained completely invisible to their most sophisticated sensors. A communication channel opened automatically on all frequencies, and a calm human voice filled the bridge. "Greetings, Admiral Vexthor of the Meridian Alliance. We apologize for the deception, but we needed to assess your intentions. Your arrival was predicted 3 years ago by our quantum probability engines, giving us ample time to prepare this demonstration." The Admiral's tendrils coiled tightly as he processed the implications. The humans hadn't just hidden their true technology. They'd orchestrated this entire encounter. "Your civilization uses quantum mechanics for computation," the human voice continued. "We use it for reality manipulation. Those primitive satellites you detected, quantum projections, the radio signals, a carefully crafted facade. We achieved quantum supremacy 2 centuries ago and have since developed technologies your scientists have only theorized about." Around the fleet, the massive stations hummed with energy. Not threatening, but impossible to ignore. Earth's true face was finally revealed. Not a primitive world awaiting guidance, but an advanced civilization that had chosen to remain hidden, watching and waiting. "We would be honored to join the Meridian Alliance," the humans said, "but as equals, not as students. We have much to share with the galaxy. Admiral, if you're willing to accept that sometimes the teachers can become the taught." Vexthor's response would determine not just the fate of this encounter, but potentially the future of galactic civilization itself. The humans had orchestrated the greatest revelation in Alliance history, and they had done it without firing a single shot. In the silence that followed, the Admiral realized that the galaxy would never be the same after this day. The question was no longer about guiding a young civilization. It was about adapting to a future where humanity's unique approach to technology and diplomacy would reshape everything the Alliance thought they knew about the universe. The Silent Defense. Commander Lyra had served under Admiral Vexthor for 3 decades, but she'd never seen the veteran diplomat's skin shift to such a pale shade of azure. The human revelation had shaken the entire command staff, but none more than the Admiral, whose reputation was built on accurately assessing developing civilizations. "They've been watching us." Vexthor finally spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. "All our protocols, our procedures, our carefully crafted first contact scenarios. They've known them all, planned for them, and turned them into a test of our own intentions." The massive quantum stations surrounding the Meridian fleet pulsed with a soft, rhythmic glow. Each pulse sent cascading waves of data through the Alliance ship's sensors, revealing capabilities that defied conventional physics. The humans weren't just ahead of the Alliance, they were operating on fundamentally different principles. A new transmission arrived, this time from a human identified as Dr. Sarah Chen, Earth's Quantum Defense Director. "We understand this is a lot to process. Admiral, perhaps a demonstration would help explain our development path." Before Vexthor could respond, the space between the fleet and Earth shimmered. A perfect holographic representation of the Meridian Alliance's home galaxy materialized, showing thousands of worlds connected by traditional FTL travel routes. Then, overlaid on this map, a web of quantum connections appeared, invisible pathways that humans had been using to observe and study the galaxy. "While you mastered faster-than-light travel, we focused on quantum entanglement," Dr. Chen explained. "Your ships cross vast distances through space. We learned to fold space itself. Your sensors scan the electromagnetic spectrum. Ours observe quantum probabilities across multiple realities." Commander Lyra watched as the hologram zoomed in on various Alliance worlds, showing details that should have been impossible to obtain. "You've been in our secure facilities," she realized, horror creeping into her voice. "Our most classified research centers." "No," Dr. Chen corrected gently. "We've never physically entered Alliance space. We didn't need to. Quantum observation allows us to gather information without physical presence. It's how we've learned your languages, studied your cultures, and understood your technologies without ever leaving our solar system." Admiral Vexthor's tendrils coiled tightly as the implications became clear. The Alliance's most sophisticated security measures were based on preventing physical intrusion and detecting conventional surveillance. They had never considered defending against quantum observation because they hadn't thought it possible on this scale. "Your arrival today," Dr. Chen continued, "was predicted by our quantum probability engines with 99.97% accuracy. We knew not just that you would come, but how you would interpret our deliberately primitive appearance. The quantum stations you see around you, they've been here for decades, cloaked not by traditional stealth technology, but by existing slightly out of phase with conventional reality." The holographic display shifted again, showing the true extent of Earth's defenses. What had appeared to be a handful of stations expanded into a vast network of quantum-linked satellites, each capable of redirecting the fundamental forces of reality itself. The humans hadn't built weapons, they'd learned to edit the universe's source code. "We chose this method of revelation carefully," Dr. Chen explained. "A show of force would have triggered defensive protocols. Appearing too advanced might have sparked fear. Instead, we let you discover us as you expected to find us, then revealed the truth in a way that demonstrated both our capabilities and our restraint." Vexthor finally found his voice. "The Alliance, we pride ourselves on guiding younger civilizations, but you've been guiding us, haven't you? Testing our reactions, judging our intentions." "In a way," Dr. Chen acknowledged, "but not as superiors, as potential partners. We've seen the good the Alliance has done throughout the galaxy. We've watched you guide dozens of species toward peaceful cooperation. That's why we chose to reveal ourselves now. The galaxy is changing, Admiral. There are threats approaching that will require new ways of thinking, new technologies, new alliances. A subtle shift in the quantum station's energy pattern drew everyone's attention. The human hologram expanded, showing something that made even the experienced Admiral step back in shock. A visualization of parallel realities, each showing different versions of this very encounter. In most probable timelines, Dr. Chen said softly, this meeting ends peacefully and leads to unprecedented cooperation. But in some, the hologram flickered through scenarios where fear and misunderstanding led to conflict. We're showing you this to demonstrate not just our capabilities, but our commitment to choosing the best possible future, together. As the hologram faded, leaving the bridge in contemplative silence, Commander Lyra realized that every protocol, every procedure in her training had just become obsolete. The humans hadn't just advanced beyond the Alliance technologically, they'd completely redefined what was possible. Diplomatic shock. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council had never been so crowded. Representatives from all 217 member species packed the ancient circular hall, their murmurs echoing off the crystalline dome above. At the center of the chamber, Admiral Vexthor stood before the High Council, his report on the Terra situation causing unprecedented chaos among the typically composed diplomatic corps. Impossible. Councillor Zixtal of the Arcturus Confederation slammed his appendage against the podium. No civilization could have hidden such advances from our collective surveillance networks. The implications alone. The chamber fell silent as a shimmer of light appeared in the witness circle. Dr. Sarah Chen materialized, not as a traditional hologram, but as a quantum projection, perfectly solid and real, despite being physically located on Earth. The display of technology sent another wave of murmurs through the assembled representatives. Distinguished members of the Council, she began, her voice clear and confident. We understand your skepticism. Humanity's path of development differs fundamentally from galactic standard. While you reached for the stars, we reached for the underlying fabric of reality itself. Behind her, a quantum display materialized, showing the historical divergence. 200 years ago, when we detected the first hints of quantum intelligence in our computing systems, we made a choice. Instead of expanding outward, we expanded inward, developing technology that could observe and manipulate the quantum nature of reality itself. High Councillor Vina, the eldest of the council members, leaned forward. You claim to have observed our civilizations without our knowledge. This violates dozens of sovereignty treaties. With respect, High Councillor, Dr. Chen replied, those treaties govern physical intrusion and electromagnetic surveillance. Our quantum observation techniques operate on principles your laws haven't yet considered. We've never physically entered your space or intercepted your communications. We simply observe probability. The quantum display shifted, showing the complex web of quantum entanglement that humanity had woven throughout the galaxy. Think of it like reading a book, Chen explained. The characters in the story aren't aware they're being observed, and the act of reading doesn't interfere with their narrative. Our quantum observation works similarly, but at a universal scale. A new figure materialized beside Dr. Chen. Admiral Marcus Zhang, Earth's Strategic Command Director. We're not here to apologize for protecting ourselves or gathering information, he stated firmly. We're here because we've observed threats approaching the galaxy that will require unprecedented cooperation. The display changed again, showing probability streams that made even the most seasoned council members shift uncomfortably in their seats. Images of dark matter entities, conscious quantum anomalies, and tears in the fabric of space-time itself flickered before them. In approximately 60% of probable futures, Admiral Zhang continued, these threats emerge within the next standard century. In timelines where civilizations face them divided, the survival rate drops to less than 10%. But in futures where we combine our technologies and knowledge, The display showed bridges between traditional Alliance technology and Earth's quantum science, creating defensive systems beyond anything previously imagined. Dr. Chen stepped forward again. We're not asking to join the Alliance as subjects or students. We're proposing a genuine partnership. Your mastery of physical space combined with our understanding of quantum reality could revolutionize everything from transportation to medicine to defense. High Counselor Vena's ancient eyes studied the human representatives carefully. And if we refuse this partnership, if we consider your unilateral surveillance a hostile act? A sad smile crossed Dr. Chen's face. We've already observed that probability stream, Counselor. It ends poorly for everyone. But we didn't come here to threaten or coerce. We came to share knowledge that could save trillions of lives. To demonstrate, she expanded the quantum display to show something that made even the most skeptical council members lean forward in fascination: a working model of consciousness transfer between organic and quantum substrates. This is just one of thousands of discoveries we've made. Imagine healing technology that works across quantum states, ships that can traverse the galaxy through probability rather than space, defenses that can predict and prevent attacks before they occur. The chamber erupted in discussion as the implications became clear. Humanity wasn't just offering to join the galactic community, they were offering to fundamentally transform it. Every field of science, every aspect of civilization could be revolutionized by combining traditional Alliance technology with Earth's quantum innovations. Admiral Vexthor, watching from his position, finally understood why the humans had chosen this particular method of revelation. They hadn't just demonstrated their advancement. They'd shown their wisdom in how they wielded it. In a galaxy of species who had all followed similar technological paths, humanity had found a completely different way forward. As the council chamber buzzed with excited discussion and nervous debate, one thing became clear. The galaxy's political and technological landscape was about to undergo the most significant transformation in its history. And at the center of it all stood humanity, not as conquerors or subjects, but as architects of a new era in galactic civilization. The knowledge exchange. The Sol System's Quantum Learning Center hung in space like a constellation of crystalline thoughts. Thousands of Alliance scientists from across the galaxy had gathered here, eager to begin the unprecedented exchange of knowledge with humanity. The massive structure, a blend of traditional space engineering and quantum architecture, represented the first joint project between Earth and the Alliance. Dr. Elena Martinez, Earth's chief of quantum integration, stood before a diverse group of alien scientists, her quantum projection allowing her to interact naturally with species from water breathers to silicon-based life forms. Behind her, a real-time visualization showed the merging of traditional Alliance FTL technology with Earth's quantum manipulation systems. The key, she explained, was realizing that what you call subspace and what we call quantum probability fields are actually two aspects of the same underlying reality. Your ships punch through space-time. We fold it, but combined. The visualization showed a new type of vessel, one that could simultaneously exist in normal space and quantum space. In the observation deck above, Admiral Zhang watched alongside his Alliance counterpart, Fleet Commander Nixus. "It's remarkable," Nixus commented, her crystalline form refracting light as she moved. "In just 3 months, we've made more progress in fundamental physics than in the previous millennium." "That's the power of different perspectives," Zhang replied. "You explored the physical universe in ways we never considered, while we delved into quantum mechanics beyond what you thought possible. Together, we're filling in each other's blind spots." Below them, the first prototype of a quantum hybrid drive spun up. It looked deceptively simple, a sphere of Alliance metamaterials surrounding a core of human quantum technology. As it activated, the space around it began to ripple with possibilities. "Amazing," one of the Alliance scientists breathed, their sensory tentacles waving in excitement. "It's accessing multiple reality states simultaneously." Dr. Martinez smiled. "Yes, but that's just the beginning. Watch this." She interfaced with the device through her neural quantum link, And suddenly, the hybrid drive created something entirely new, a tunnel through space-time that existed in all probable realities simultaneously. We call it a probability corridor, she explained. Unlike traditional FTL travel, which forces its way through space-time, or our previous quantum tunneling that skipped through reality states, this method creates a path of absolute certainty through the quantum foam of space-time itself. The implications were staggering. Ships using this technology wouldn't just be faster. They'd be virtually untouchable, existing in the most advantageous probability state at any given moment. But the applications went far beyond transportation. In another section of the Learning Center, human and Alliance medical researchers worked together to apply quantum probability manipulation to healing. By observing all possible states of a patient's body and gently nudging probability toward the healthiest outcome, they were developing treatments that seemed like magic to traditional medicine. The challenge, Dr. Martinez continued, isn't just teaching each other our technologies. It's learning to think in new ways. The Alliance's mastery of physical space travel forced us to reconsider some of our quantum theories, and our understanding of probability manipulation is pushing Alliance scientists to question fundamental assumptions about reality. The hybrid drive demonstration concluded, but the excitement in the Learning Center only grew. Teams of researchers from both civilizations were already forming, eager to explore the possibilities this merger of technologies created. Some worked on defensive systems that could predict and prevent attacks across multiple probability streams. Others focused on communication methods that would be truly instantaneous and impossible to intercept. Admiral Zhang turned to Commander Nixis. "There's something we haven't shared yet with the general scientific community," he said quietly. "Our quantum probability engines have detected anomalies. Patterns in reality itself that suggest consciousness on a scale we can barely comprehend." Nix's crystalline form dimmed slightly, her species equivalent of a concerned frown. "The threats you warned the Council about. Some of them. We've observed entities that exist primarily in quantum states, beings that feed on probability itself. They've noticed our observations, and some of our models suggest they're becoming curious about physical reality. That's why you pushed for this knowledge exchange to happen so quickly," Nixis realized. "You're not just sharing technology. You're preparing the galaxy for something." Zhang nodded. "In the most probable futures where we face these threats alone, neither humanity nor the Alliance survives. But in futures where we've successfully merged our technologies and knowledge," he let the implication hang in the air. Below them, Dr. Martinez was explaining how quantum probability manipulation could be used to enhance traditional Alliance shield technology. The resulting defense systems would be able to redirect energy attacks into alternate probability states where they never existed, while simultaneously reinforcing the shield's integrity across multiple realities. The Learning Center had become more than just a place of scientific exchange. It was the birthplace of a new era in galactic civilization. Human quantum science and Alliance space technology were combining in ways that neither side had imagined possible, creating solutions to problems neither civilization could have solved alone. As the day's sessions concluded, Admiral Zhang watched the various research teams, human and alien alike, continuing their discussions, too excited by the possibilities to stop for mere rest cycles. In the face of the approaching quantum threats, this enthusiasm, this drive to understand and adapt, might be the galaxy's greatest weapon. New galactic order. One standard galactic year after humanity's revelation, the Meridian Alliance had transformed beyond recognition. The massive chamber of the reformed Galactic Council bore little resemblance to its predecessor, its architecture now a seamless blend of physical and quantum engineering. Representatives from all member species attended both in person and through quantum projection, their consciousnesses partly merged with the quantum substrate that humanity had introduced to galactic civilization. High Counselor Elena Martinez, formerly Earth's chief of quantum integration, stood at the center of the chamber. The position of High Counselor had been created specifically to oversee the integration of traditional and quantum technologies across the galaxy. Around her, the quantum-enhanced display showed the first successful test of the new unified defense network. The quantum shield network is now operational in 60% of Alliance space, she announced, her voice carrying naturally through both physical and quantum channels. Early warning systems are detecting potential threats across all probable timelines, and our response capabilities have exceeded all projections. Admiral Vexthor, now serving as Strategic Operations Director, watched the demonstration with a sense of wonder that hadn't diminished in the past year. The SHIELD network represented everything that the Human Alliance Partnership had achieved. A defense system that existed simultaneously in physical and quantum space, capable of protecting against both conventional attacks and the quantum entities that humanity had warned them about. We've detected the first direct interaction, Martinez continued, her expression growing serious. A quantum entity attempted to breach reality in the Arcturus sector. The hybrid defense grid not only prevented the incursion, but managed to establish limited communication. The chamber erupted in murmurs as she displayed the interaction. The entity, a being of pure quantum probability, had responded to the defense grid's quantum signatures with patterns that suggested intelligence. More importantly, it had retreated when it encountered the barrier, showing an understanding of boundaries that nobody had expected. Commander Lyra, who had become the Alliance's chief liaison with the Quantum Defense Initiative, stepped forward. The entity's behavior suggests these beings aren't inherently hostile. They're curious, exploring probability space the way we once explored physical space. The hybrid technology allows us to communicate with them on their terms while maintaining our reality's integrity. The display shifted to show the network of quantum-enhanced ships now patrolling Alliance space. Each vessel represented a perfect fusion of Alliance engineering and human quantum science. They could shift between regular space travel and quantum probability corridors at will, their crews trained in both traditional navigation and quantum probability manipulation. But perhaps the most significant development, Martinez continued, is in the field of consciousness integration. The display showed the quantum learning centers that had sprung up across Alliance space, where beings of all species learn to extend their consciousness into the quantum realm while maintaining their physical forms. We're evolving, she explained, not through biological means, but through the merger of consciousness with quantum reality. This isn't just technological advancement. It's the next step in sentient development. The proof of her words was evident in the chamber itself. Representatives who had once required complex translation devices now shared thoughts and concepts directly through the quantum substrate. Species that had once been unable to comprehend each other's modes of existence now shared perspectives across multiple layers of reality. Admiral Zhang, attending through quantum projection, added his thoughts to the collective consciousness of the chamber. The quantum entities we detected aren't just a threat. They're our future neighbors in a much larger reality. By learning to exist in both physical and quantum states, we're preparing to join a community of consciousness that extends far beyond our traditional understanding of space and time. The display shifted one final time, showing the galaxy not as it appeared in physical space, but as it existed across all probability streams. The Alliance worlds shone like beacons of merged reality, where physical and quantum states coexisted in harmony. Earth, once thought to be a primitive world, now stood as a nexus of this new civilization, its quantum expertise helping to guide the galaxy into a new age of existence. 1 year ago, Martinez concluded, humanity revealed itself to the galaxy. Today, we stand together not just as allies or partners, but as pioneers of a new form of existence. The threats we face are real, but they're also opportunities, chances to grow beyond what any of us thought possible. As the council session concluded, Admiral Vexthor found himself reflecting on that first contact with Earth. What had seemed like a routine mission had turned into the catalyst for the greatest transformation in galactic history. Humanity hadn't just joined the galactic community, they had helped to fundamentally reimagine what that community could become. The quantum entities that humanity had first detected continued to probe the edges of Alliance space, But now these interactions were marked by growing understanding rather than fear. In merging physical and quantum technologies, the Alliance had created something entirely new, a civilization that could bridge the gap between different forms of existence itself. As the representatives filed out of the chamber, their consciousnesses flowing seamlessly between physical and quantum states, the promise of this new era was palpable. The galaxy had entered a renaissance of discovery and development, where the boundaries between possible and impossible dissolved into probability, and the future held more potential than anyone had ever dreamed possible.